محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وعلى آلك وأصحابك أجمعين أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وأقيموا الصلاة صدق الله العلي العظيم. बुलंद आवाज से दुरूद पाक का हदिया पेश करें. Recite durood and salawat upon the Messenger of Allah, his family, his noble companions, Rasulullah salatu wasalam's honorable and modest wives. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina wa Mawlana Muhammadan wa ala alika wa ashabika wa azwajika wa ulamai ummatika wa shuhadai ummatika wa awliyai millatika ya Rasulullah ya Habiballah. All thanks and praise is due to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We seek His help and forgiveness, and we seek refuge in Allah from the evil within ourselves and the consequences of our evil deeds. Whoever Allah guides will never be led astray, and whoever Allah leads astray will never find guidance. I bear witness that there is no God but Allah alone without any partners. I bear witness that Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam is the messenger of Allah. Dear respected brothers who are gathered here today for Jummah, I greet you with the greetings of peace of Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Dear respected brothers and sisters who are watching throughout the social media, through the platform of the Makkah Islamic Center and the Sufi Council, I greet them with the greeting of peace of Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We're all gathered here today for the one purpose of reading Salah, coming to the masjid and worshiping only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You left your work, you left your families, you left your children because of the hukam of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Of how important and auspicious is Friday, for you have gotten the call of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, for you that have gotten hidayat and followed with tawfiq and brought you to the masajid. Rasulullah salatu wasalam has said, the first one that comes to the masajid, his reward, it is as that he has given a share of camels. Second, followed, is a share of buffaloes, cows. Third, has followed them, has gotten the reward of sheep. Followed them, has gotten the reward of slaughtering chickens. And who has followed them, who is coming later upon them, who has gotten the reward of the eggs, of the chicken eggs. So how early you come, the more reward you will have by coming to the masajid. The more later you will come, you will get reward, but not as much as you will get from the first people who have came. But you came because to read Salah. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said, the 5 pillars of Islam, of them, reading Salah, of all of worship, this is the best deed. The first one is to testify that Allah is your Lord, and to bring iman upon the Messenger of Allah. After that worship of testifying, declaration, is Salah. You come in the worship in the masajid, so you leave everything alone for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's glorification. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala blesses you as you come near to Him. But are we reading our salah or are we establishing our salah? In the Quran, it doesn't say to read the Quran. It says to establish the Quran. The hukam is iqamatus salah. Not to read your salah, but to establish your salah. How many of us are establishing our salah? 3 clarifications I'm going to bring upon you today. The first, the one that brings testimony of La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah, he is close. He will then not break his oath when he's establishing his salah. When someone has established their salah knowing that declaration of La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah, you will not see him in the church. You will not see him in a synagogue. You will not see him in the temples. You will not see him mingling around with the kuffar, because in your heart you have said La ilaha illallah and then reading salah. Came to know those ones that still mingle outside after reading your salah and leaving, and then with the kuffar, yeah, Merry Christmas, ha, everything is okay. You just read your salah, you never established your salah. Understand the difference between reading and establishing. Second, clarification. After reading salah, how is someone's attitude, akhlaq, manners, adab, have they changed? After reading salah, this will distinguish between the truth and falsehood. Ghibat karte jaye, zina karte jaye, sharab peete jaye, namaz bhi padh raha hai. Going to read salah afterwards, going to the mehkhana, you have just read salah, you didn't establish your salah. Second point, how many of you do ghibat after reading the salah? Backbiting, talking bad, evil manners, be'adab. We came to know you still read your salah. You never established your salah. Why? The best of the manners, Allah is merciful. You come to Him to regain mercy. But we came to know, well, you were reading salah, Rahm wasn't upon that person. Then we distinguished him. He read his salah. He never established his salah. He's keep doing the work of the evilness. You came to kill the evil. You came to kill your inner side. You came here to the masajid for purification. You came here to clean your heart. Mukhlis with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Sincerity. After leaving the masajid, doing the same acts what you were doing before. You didn't want to change yourself. My brother, you just read your salah. You never established your salah. Because you never took what the meaning of mercy was. And then there will be a contradiction to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah's men don't do ghibat. Allah's men don't drink alcohol. Allah's men don't do zina. Allah's men don't speak bad of others. Allah's men don't neglect the orphans. Allah's men don't hit their wives. Allah's men come with mercy. They show their mercy. And this is why when someone reads Fajr Salah, you will see the rahm on their face. Beautification that's on their face. Every salah has their specialty, khususiyat. Every salah. Reading is Jummah Salah is a hukam. Why? Dollars are making this time. This is the imtihan for you. The busiest time of the day, today, right now, lunchtime. But you left that for salah. This is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tests you, brothers. Zuhr Salah increases your rizq. You left rizq, you left it outside to gain the pleasure of Allah. Every khususiyat of every salah, brothers, this is your imtihan. But when you're reading your salah, please don't read your salah, establish your salah. In the Quran is wa'aqimu salah. It doesn't say to read, it says to establish you. Establishment, present yourself with the best of manners. I have 5 minutes. Mantak ki zuban mein. Now, the third part. How do we clarify our enemy that is distracting us from Salah. 3 points I mentioned. First, establishing Salah. Second, coming and purifying yourself. What did you read? What did you gain from reading Salah? And third, knowing your enemy. In the Quran, وَأَقِيمُوا الصَّلَاةَ, the meaning, establish your Salah. Anyone that wants to gain anything needs two understanding of this. One is to read, the other is to establish. In the Quran, who read their Salah? Who read their Salah? The Shaitan is an open enemy to Islam. When he refused Allah's command, وَسَجَدُوا إِلَيْهِ Iblis, everyone did sajda except Iblis, meaning to know that he was reading his Salah, but he didn't establish his Salah. This is why you and me say, أَعُوذُ بِاللَّهِ مِنَ الشَّيْطَانِ الرَّجِيمِ first. Why? To declare the open enemy of Islam, the Shaitan. So now when you distinguish yourself, are you doing the traits of the Shaitan, or are you doing it following the Sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam? This is why we do mazammat first, open enemy, declaring that Shaitan is the open enemy to Islam. Allah loves those who love Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is why Allah makes you say who his enemy is. Second trait, what did Shaitan do that was so wrong in his second error? He disrespected Nabi Adam alayhi salam. So in front of you, know your enemy before establishing your Salah. The Shaitan was an open enemy to mankind and to Hazrat Adam alayhi salam. You will gain more pleasure in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala while establishing your Salah by loving Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. How? You love Him and you hate His enemies. You hate Shaitan and you hate everything Shaitan did. If Shaitan hated Nabi, we don't follow the ones who hated Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam or all of the Anbiyas. We love Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So when there are people, Shaitan's army is one of them too. Up to now in disguise, they say the same thing. The same thing Iblis was saying to Hazrat Adam. He is a man just like me. Oh, he's just a regular man. He's made out of clay. He's made out of soil. Understand, the first person to say this was Shaitan. Know your enemy when you're establishing your Salah. Brothers, this message can go on and on and on in Aqidah. It is impossible to finish it in 20 minutes, but I have to wrap it up today. But the message should be establishing your Salah, not reading your Salah. Purification, tazkiyah. Every time you come to the masajid, when you're in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, consciously knowing Allah is watching you. Allah is watching you. Try to correct yourself by establishing your Salah. Don't ruin your Salah. Have it a habit. Carry the sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Apply the sunnah. Try to get closer to Allah Rasul. Wa akhir dawana alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen.